Here are some tips for iPhone photography. Use the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a basic principle of photography that suggests placing your subject off-center for a more visually interesting composition. To use this technique, imagine a grid with 2 vertical and 2 horizontal lines dividing your frame into thirds. Try to place your subject along one of these lines or at one of the points where they intersect. Find good lighting. Good lighting is key to taking great photos. Try to take photos during the golden hour, the hour after sunrise or the hour before sunset, when the light is soft and warm. If you're indoors, try to use natural light or a lamp instead of harsh overhead lighting. Use HDR mode, High Dynamic Range. HDR mode is a feature that captures multiple exposures of the same scene and combines them for a more balanced exposure. When you take a photo in HDR mode, iPhone captures 3 different photos at different exposure levels, 1 photo with a normal exposure, 1 overexposed, and 1 underexposed. The camera then combines these 3 photos to create an HDR image that captures the full range of light in the scene. HDR mode is useful for scenes with a wide range of light and dark areas, such as landscapes, sunsets, or indoor scenes with bright windows. By capturing more detail in both the highlights and shadows, HDR photos have better contrast and more vibrant colors. To use HDR mode on iPhone, simply open the camera app and tap the HDR button at the top of the screen. You can choose between Auto HDR mode, which automatically detects when HDR is needed, or On mode, which always uses HDR. You can also turn off HDR if you prefer to take normal photos. Keep in mind that HDR mode takes longer to capture and process photos, so it's not ideal for fast-moving subjects or situations where you need to take multiple photos quickly. But for landscape, nature, and other scenic photography, HDR mode can help you capture stunning photos with better detail and clarity. Experiment with angles and perspectives. Don't be afraid to get creative with your angles and perspectives. Try shooting from a low angle or a high angle, or experiment with different vantage points to find the most interesting composition. Edit with care. While iPhone's camera and editing tools are powerful, it's important to edit with care. Avoid over-editing your photos, and try to maintain a natural look. Adjust the exposure, contrast, and color balance as needed, but don't go overboard with filters and effects. Use burst mode. Burst mode allows you to take a series of photos in quick succession, which is useful for capturing fast-moving subjects like sports or wildlife. To use burst mode, simply hold down the shutter button or volume button while taking a photo. With these tips, you can take stunning photos on your iPhone and explore the many possibilities of iPhone photography.